Let's talk more about Ben Solo.
On the note of freaking Kylo Ren / Ben Solo, 3 questions. 1. Why did he get knocked off a cliff? 2. Why did he die? 3. Why did they kiss? So, question 1. Why did Kylo Ren get knocked off a cliff? Okay, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the part where Palpatine goes and then he just falls off the cliff. Alright, okay. I wanted to make clear why this is an important question. It sounds like a very trivial question, but it's a very important question. For me, this trilogy's main character is obviously Rey, right? She's the main character. But for me, its narrative core, the person that actually brings meaning to why this trilogy was created, for me that's Kylo Ren or Ben Solo. And to me, the most important story in these 3 movies should be Kylo Ren's redemption arc. And why? Okay, why? Redemption arcs are definitely a trope. We've seen it in Zuko, Loki. But in my opinion, it's one of the most meaningful stories that you could tell if you do it right. Star Wars is, as we've established, very black versus white. And so heroes are heroes and villains are villains. And if so, the story becomes kind of shallow and boring because it becomes very reductive in terms of each person's moral compass. And so Kylo Ren's story in being born as a Jedi, then becoming bad and turning good again, that is something that brings meaning and gives value to the Star Wars universe. It value adds, and that's the most important thing. And that's why Kylo Ren is really important to me. And I would say it's important to quite a lot of other people as well. And this intro basically brings us back to the question of why he got knocked off a cliff. Alright, so he flings his red saber into the sea, right? Then he goes to find Rey. And okay, I actually like this part because we see a different side of Ren, that when he starts fighting the Knights of Ren, he becomes very quippy. He fights with character, he fights with a smile. This point where he gets thrown into a wall and he goes it's a comedic moment. And then when he gets the lightsaber from Rey, he takes it out and he switches it on and he does this jazz hands like this. And it basically shows that Kylo Ren has always been a very repressed version of Ben Solo. And being freed from that actually shows us who Ben Solo is, which is someone that actually does fit in with what Star Wars heroes have always been. And this sort of sass is also something that we remember his father for. And I found that very hopeful. I was yeah, we're finally getting the person that I've been waiting 3 movies to see. And then he reaches the throne room, and then there's this awesome pair up scene where they do this, they match up. That was freaking cool. I was yes, my dreams have been fulfilled. But then they get drained, and then he tries and gets up, and then Palpatine just throws him off a cliff, and he doesn't do anything for the rest of the final arc except he climbs up at the end and gives Rey his entire life force, which is just a giant question mark for me because you spend half your screen time on 3 different movies on him trying and failing to be a Sith and questioning who he is as a person and feeling vengeful and lashing out at everybody. And then what? You throw him off a cliff. What was the point? Why do we stick around for 3 movies to watch that? If his story is the most meaningful one, why do we not get that final redemption? Yes. Moving on to question 2. Noah.
So, second question. Why did Ben Solo die? Why did he have to die? He didn't have to die in order to, prove any point. What Star Wars fails to show is that there is actually, if you join back from the dark side, you can live a life of good. And it's not always the answer doesn't always have to be death. What we want to see is Ben Solo, Ben Solo becoming a good person, Ben Solo aiding Rey, aiding Finn and Poe, apologizing to the Resistance maybe, coming back with and hoping that the Resistance will accept him with open arms. It will be such a great turning point of this movie, a great wrap up to the trilogy of seeing him first commit patricide with his father Han Solo, all the way to him, repenting for what he has done, coming back and fighting hand in hand, saber in saber, with Rey, with those buddies. That would be such an amazing point. Right, let's talk about it. Why?
Question 3.
Third question. Why did they have to kiss? It doesn't make any sense for them to have any romantic attraction to each other. But we were like, no way. Come on.
It was so frustrating because when they did kiss, it was like, because of the music and the way it was framed, it was presented as a very, very emotional moment, like a final reconciliation. Like these two characters love each other. It's soulmate
Romeo
time.
and Juliet, like that's
star-crossed lovers and all that.
Star Wars lovers.
But the fact that is when you present something that has no emotional base as something that is so emotional, it cheapens the actual emotional part for me, at least, which was when Kylo Ren turned good.
We're also not happy about the fact that Rey
is a Palpatine. It felt like they were just trying to tie up loose ends and make sure that they provided the answers that fans were demanding, especially after The Last Jedi. And it just felt like they just wanted to prevent more outrage. Like, after watching The Last Jedi, there was a lot of negative comments from long-time fans talking about, who's Rey? Why are you not giving us an answer? What's going on? And so in this movie, they literally repeated "You're Palpatine" in so many different ways, just in case you didn't get it, just in case you didn't understand. And it's just, why?
It harks back to fan service again.
Yeah.
Once you cave into your fans, and your fans have more say than your own creative writing team, it just cheapens everything, because making a movie for the fans becomes it becomes a movie that is it's very, very shallow and not very, very surface only, where you only see, oh, I like this, I want them to get together. They get together, yay.
Personally, it feels as if they didn't really know where they were. When they started The Force Awakens, it was like they didn't really know where they wanted to end it with. They just created characters that had interesting premises, like Finn and Kylo Ren, and they were just I don't really know where we're gonna go, but
exactly.
We're gonna see where we're gonna go after we see the audience reaction after each film, which is why there was which was conspiracy theory, why there was a gap of 1 year in between each film, so that they could gauge audience reactions and be okay, it shouldn't be this sappy, or it shouldn't be this it shouldn't be like that in the next film. Give us something that we haven't seen before, especially something that we haven't seen in the Star Wars universe. But this actually leads us back to what we said Star Wars is about, which is this black and white, very monochrome moral compass without any of the grey lines. Just the question that fans ask of who is Rey, that already communicates something about the Star Wars worldview and what Star Wars has been telling us from the start, implicit in the way it deals with its characters, which is basically this: for the world to be black and white, for us to focus on one hero, this hero would have to be someone that is significant to either the dark side or the light side. And so every single hero needs to be somebody. He or she cannot be nobody. And if you want to change the world, you have to be somebody. You have to be born into a certain dynasty. You have to have certain characteristics to look a certain way. And I don't think that is something that is a good message to give us now, especially because this new trilogy was marketed as something that was supposed to be a new generation of Star Wars. Then if you are going to give us a new generation of Star Wars, then tell us something that is more with the times, not something that is based on your biological background, but something that shows these characters doing things and changing the world with their own actions in and of themselves right now. And that's something that we need now. That is the most contemporary, current message that you could use Star Wars to bring across.
Harking back, just Rey being a Palpatine also just shows that they actually don't have much material to work with Rey. She's hardworking, that's about, and then she's terrified of her powers.
The rest of the time she's feeling it.
Because you see Kylo Ren's I feel that you know, it just has so many arcs of his character compared to Rey's. I'm not sure, my powers are too strong. I don't want it to be used for bad. That's it.
And on that point, like Kylo Ren would actually be the most current story that you could use Star Wars to tell.
That's true.
Star Wars has never really dealt with a morally grey character in morally grey terms. Like Anakin Skywalker was someone that was morally grey but dealt with in a black and white worldview. And we got the same thing with Kylo Ren, and I just thought
they could make it so much more than what they made it to be. I mean, based on our schedule right now, we are gonna have some stuff lined up soon. So stay tuned and keep watching. All right,
bye.